Hey, everybody. I'm Larry.
And I'm Melissa.
We didn't even say our last names, didn't we?
Well, I was following suit.
I love that.
I wanted to.
We're so glad you're here. We're glad that you have chosen to be a part of this Thanksgiving episode of RelationShifts. And, you know, Melissa, I cannot believe what in the world are we doing at Thanksgiving? I mean, really?
You know, it's here. It is right on us. And, you know, I just can't believe this year is coming to a close.
I know. I mean,
it kind of feels like it just started. I mean, maybe we're in the second quarter, but no, we're not.
I don't know. You're not, but we're getting older every year, and all of a sudden, I think.
Thank you for prefacing
that.
Yeah, because when you said
that.
You're not,
Threw
I didn't
that
know where you were headed next with that.
I know.
So my brain just kind of paused. But then you were nice. Thank you for that.
Well, I'm trying to be nice. I mean, it's Thanksgiving.
Thankful.
But
show some
But it's
gratitude.
like, it's like I just got used to 2025, like writing to our typing 2025. And now here we are looking at 2026 right in the face.
You know, that is a sign that you're getting older.
Yeah, well, that's a fact.
We're getting older.
We are. I am for
good.
sure.
It's all good.
All right. So Thanksgiving, we're gonna talk about that today. We got some fun stuff. But before we go, I have a question for you. I want you to think hard about it. So when you go to Thanksgiving and you prepare the turkey, right, and that kind of thing, there are a couple of different kinds of dressing, a couple of different kinds of gravy, and I want to have this conversation because gravy is important. It's an important part of the Thanksgiving meal, right? So I want to ask you, when we say like turkey and dressing, what does the dressing look like in your world, your favorite kind, and what does the gravy, what kind of gravy? That's really important too.
So the gravy's not really something that we do, but the dressing.
Okay.
And on my husband's side of the family, there is a dressing that his grandmother made that's been handed down, the kind of the same, dressing. And so it's very sagey. It's really, really, really good. And so they work hard, prepare that. It's a tradition, and it's yummy. It's really good.
This is strange because in our family, my wife, Melanie, her grandparents made this dressing. And it's a tradition.
Okay.
And they do it every year. Now her parents, her dad makes a big, he's the guy that they prepare, days ahead with, you have to get some kind of cornbread and some kind of bread.
It's got to be a little old. It's got to be a little dry.
And he and Mimi, they make this, and it's, now we're trying to kind of learn how to do that.
Carry it on.
And carry it on that. Isn't that because see, I think there are a couple of, and by the way, we do have gravy. And I think gravy is really important because there are a couple of things you could do with gravy. You could do this really light. It's almost a broth kind of gravy. It's okay. It's fine. But I like brown. It's a little light brown.
Oh, yeah.
It's got, what is it? Giblets or stuff in it?
So y'all do giblet gravy?
Yeah. It's good too. It's really good. I mean gravy. That's what I can't do. I'm going to get in trouble for this. We'll probably get some emails. Send their emails to Robin Brzezinski at tseagle.com. But there's a couple of types of dressing, right? In my head, there's Southern dressing and there's Northern dressing. And I have some relatives. Yes, I have relatives who.
So how would you describe
Northern dressing? Northern dressing doesn't have cornbread. It's like it has bread, and it's more. I don't know what the word is. It's not spice, but it's something. There's a flavor, and it's fine. It is good. I'm not knocking Northern dressing. It's more of a. Almost like, what do you call it when you, like a stuffing? It's almost like a stuffing. Okay. Yeah. And so, and it's fine, but man, that good old Southern dressing made from cornbread.
So here's the question. Do you like the edges? Do you like the middle?
100% edge guy. Crispy. Oh my gosh. I'm getting hungry right now.
Okay. So our episode is entitled Gravy, Gratitude, and Ground Rules.
Let us hear from you. What kind of gravy, what kind of dressing do you like? We need to know. Yeah,
we do. So we have a question as to we're getting going today.
Well, I want to hear that question. Before you ask me the question though, I got to ask you one more question.
Yes.
All right. Tell me what's going on in your world and kind of tell me what's going on. I think some pretty cool things are happening and you want to talk about some of that.
I do.
I want to, before we jump into the question, I want to get to that. So Tell us what's going on.
Yeah. So let me tell you what we're doing. So we are focusing on how we can serve and give through this season. And we have something that's near and dear to our heart. We've partnered with Project 143. It's p143.org if you want to find out about it. And what they do is they advocate for orphans. And they have a hosting program. And so they bring children to a host here in the States so they can experience family. They can experience what that looks like and what it feels like. And they do it around the holidays.
Can you tell us, like, where do they pull from? Just generally several places across the world, though. It's international is what I'm asking.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
But we've been talking about this, and my daughter, who is our resident lion,
yes, she is.
She wanted us to do this. So part of one of our core values as a family is that we believe every child should have a home. Every child should have a family. And so she has encouraged us to do this. And so we're doing it. And we're excited about it because, we think when you serve others, then, you have such you have so much to learn and you gain so much when you're serving others. So we're looking forward to this. So it's a great opportunity where you can advocate for others and advocate for orphans. And so I want to be a mouthpiece and support P143 so that others can just hear about it and other people can learn about it, because that's part of the process.
Well, I have to say, what an amazing thing that you're doing, and what an amazing organization. And I just want to, I have to say this, that I was talking to your daughter, Ellie, about this, and she was explaining to me why you guys were doing this. And your daughter's 13, let's you know. And she said, I asked, why are you so excited about this? Why did you want to do this? Because you told me she was excited. She said, I want to be able to make a difference in someone's life because my mom and dad have made such a difference in my life.
You're going to get me choked up, Larry. Let's keep
going. It's amazing
to
me. I thought, Ellie, the wisdom and the heart and the compassion, and that says a lot about your home, the culture that you guys are not just talking about, but you're living. And Ellie is demonstrating that because of what you guys have given and how you've loved her, and now she wants to do that for someone else. That's what legacy is about. That is what legacy, and I'm in this Thanksgiving season so thankful for that. Thankful for you and your husband Kelly and Ellie, and how you guys have chosen to make a difference in the lives of these wonderful orphans. P143.org. That's right. Where we got to go.
That's right. And we're so thankful for you guys. You make a difference. You have invested in my daughter and give so much to her and teach her. And legacy is super important. And so we do want to talk about today how, in these relationships around holidays, how do you navigate it? How do you make sure that gratitude stays there? There's a focus and you can figure out what that needs to look like. So let's go to our question.
All right, here we go.
Are you ready?
Question.
So our question
you
for today.
You need some tissue before we go. Are you good?
I'm pushing through. So here's the question. Talking about family. So why is it so hard to say no to people we love during the holidays? Why is it so hard?
It's a great question. I think because at our core, we want to be accepted. We want to be loved. We want to be affirmed by those that we love or by those who are closest to us. So therefore, we want to please them. And in doing so, we sometimes allow ourselves to say yes when we should say no, or say, let me think about it, or let me change it a bit, because we want to show our love for them, no doubt, and we want to be loved by them. I mean, it's kind of a two-way thing, and I think it's
basic needs.
Yeah, it's a basic. It goes back to basic needs, and we're going to talk about what we can do. Good news. We can say no and still love, and we can say no and still be loved. And so we're going to talk about that today.
And those are powerful concepts to be able to figure out how to do both so that we don't fall on one end extreme or the other. So some stats here. So if we think about, holidays and getting together, Here's a stat that 88% of adults report at least one stressful family interaction during holiday gatherings. That's research.
Kind of low, I think. I mean, 88, probably maybe 99. I don't know. But
one is where my mind goes to.
One interaction. Just one interaction.
Yeah. Okay, here's another one. Let's just have fun. 67% of adults report feeling pressure to attend family events that they prefer to avoid.
I think that's low.
67.
I think it's more like 90.
Here's another fun one. 62% of people attend family gatherings that they actively dread to avoid disappointing others.
Yeah, that goes back to what we just said. I can see it.
All right. 72% of people overcommit during the holidays. They take on more responsibilities than they can really handle.
Yeah, probably low. That's probably low. Probably more than 72. But anyway, yep, I agree. And, all of that leads to more stress and anxiety. And ultimately, then I do think about this. When you burn your energy during Thanksgiving and Christmas, the holidays, you're going, and then, January comes and you're burnt out. And your anxiety levels are high.
Even if you're so stressful, you're not able to truly be in the moment.
And you can't be present.
You can't have some fun in the situation, and you can't look for things like that. There's a lot there. There's a lot of dynamics that come into play where you can't truly enjoy.
I think one of those dynamics and where I was headed is January, February, the highest months for depression. And don't you think if we're burnt out and stressed, I'm not saying that's the only factor by any means, but I'm saying I think it could contribute to that. I really, so this is important stuff, I think.
So we're going to assume that everybody can relate to this on some level.
Oh, yes.
That they can see themselves in these stats on some level, that they can see themselves in the shifts that are needed to be made so that there can be a different type of interaction, a different type of engagement over these holidays that are right here upon us.
You don't have to be miserable. You can do some things about it. There are some things that you can do.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about those. Just some shifts you can make, some things, and that's doable. Not that you would have a perfect family gathering, not that you'll have a perfect holiday, but that you will have a healthy holiday for you, a more healthy holiday for you and your family.
So I think you've got to start with this mindset of, let me get my mind around how I can choose to make these shifts. Even before I get into shifting, I need to be aware that I can control myself. Because if we're not careful, we will fall into that, and other people will control how we feel. They'll produce feelings in us. They will bring out feelings in us. And so I think going into this, we've got to have our mind around, I want to do something a little different. I want to shift a little bit. I need to shift some. And I just want to. I want to do this. So let's break this down. Let's talk about some practical shifts. We believe these are practical, very practical, because we think that if we can shift a little bit, then we can feel a little more control over ourselves, and it can help us respond a little differently. It can kind of set up this little propensity to respond differently.
Well, I think the first thing we have to do is look at the expectations. There's this trap. It's called the expectation trap. And I'm telling you, it's deadly for relationships. And it exacerbates, it gets worse, if you will, in the holiday season, Christmas and Thanksgiving. We these unrealistic expectations, man, we set for ourselves. We allow others to set for us. It is real. Are we set on others? How about that? And so I think it's important. Let's be aware. Our expectations, are they realistic? Are they not? I think it's really important.
And these are spoken. These are unspoken.
Yes.
They can look different ways. So we're talking about shifting from unrealistic expectations to putting yourself in others' shoes.
Yeah, we've always had Christmas together. We've always had Thanksgiving together since you were young, since you were just babies, and we wanted everybody here. Now you're growing up and you're adults, and we still want to have Christmas together. We still want to have Thanksgiving, and I'm expecting you to be there. Now we got to be there on Christmas Eve so we can open our Christmas Eve presents together. Now we've got to be there really the night before Christmas Eve so we can all go together to look at Christmas lights.
You're
and we can all go together. We need that. And then we also, don't forget, now the day after Christmas is our chair day where we're all just going to be relaxed, but we need you here with us after that. So you've got to be, we need you here. If you're a part of this family, if you love your family, you're going to be here. And then Thanksgiving, obviously, you're going to be here from, we'll start on Wednesday afternoon because that's when we all watch a movie together for Thanksgiving. So we'll have Thanksgiving then, and then Thanksgiving Day, really need you here at 7 a.m. because we're going to be making all the things that we do. And then Friday, of course, we've got to have that shopping day together. We always go shopping on Friday. It's Black Friday. We always do that. And then we can all recover together on Saturday. So you see that it sounds crazy, but if you're not careful, Robin, our producer, she's over there right now fanning. She's having but it's what so many people live through, those unrealistic expectations. And we may be guilty of putting some of those expectations on those we love. Yeah, not because we want to harm them, but because we love them and we want to be with them. Yeah. We got to shift out of that.
Yeah. Somewhere in all that, there is a pure desire to spend time with someone, but it crosses, at some point, it crosses a line when that desire is the focal point versus putting your feet in somebody else's shoes of what do they have the capacity, time, energy, the capability to do. So we gotta make that shift. If we allow our feet to be in somebody else's shoes, then we have an opportunity to step back, calibrate, and figure out, what can I ask for? What can I have a conversation about? How can we make it where we're both adding input and we're both coming up with solutions?
Exactly.
What is it? How do we do that?
I have adult children, and my daughter's married, Ren, and they're going to be spending Christmas this year with Will, her husband, with her parents, and they live up in Tennessee in Knoxville. And my wife and I love that because we enjoy them being able to enjoy.
Y'all just want to be by yourself.
Parents. Yeah, we're really kind of nice. But no, we love it. But that was set up a long time ago because to us, what we're gonna prioritize is having a time to have a relationship with them. It may not be on Christmas Day. It's not going to be on Christmas Day. We'll have a time when it makes sense. And it's kind of like we really want to focus on the relationship versus the ritual. I mean, relationships over rituals every time for us. And I think if we get too caught up on rituals, we might damage the relationship because we expect these rituals to be done, and that expectation can be damaging.
And you're talking and I'm just soaking this in, and it's so good, yet so hard. And what you did years ago is you set up that expectation. Yeah. That, hey, we're going to do things this way. I'm assuming that was prior to kids. Oh, yeah. I'm assuming that, prior to pets. It was whatever, it was prior to, and you had this forethought and this insight to do that. How do people do this though? How can they, if they weren't, so ahead of the game to be able to do that?
Well, you got to think about for me, it was about priorities. I wanted our kids to have a Christmas Day experience, Christmas morning, Christmas morning. That was it. Now, that didn't mean we couldn't be with other family at other times during the holidays, before or after. And it is hard work, and it is, you want to be there because there's some things you're just supposed to do as family. That's right. But we wanted to set boundaries from a priority of what was most important to us. And what was most important to us was our children having an experience at Christmas in our home. All right. So we did that. And now, years later, my daughter's 30-something, 34, I think. My son's 32. We look back at those memories and we were so thankful we did that. It was still hard. We still had to get to her family. Holidays are just stressful, but setting that boundary allowed us to have experiences that we would have never had if we were trying to travel during that day or on that day. So I think it's about picking what you want to. It's not all or none. It's this is important, so we're going to do this, but then we're going to flex over here on and other things. And it's about give and take. And now because we value relationships way more than a ritual of having, because they're adults now, we don't have to have a Christmas day. So they're not children, right? So we stopped that. We stopped it. We said, now we want to honor your husband. We want to honor your family. And they will set up, I hope they set something that's important for them and a boundary, and they stand beside that as they, go through their journey of life together. And we will honor that, because we were able to establish that when that was the priority for us at that time when they were young, right? But it's what's realistic, what expectations can you set, and put yourself in other shoes. What are they dealing with? What are they having to do?
I think it's so important. I think even having conversations prior to the holidays being right on you, it's starting off in October or prior to that, September, where you start talking about, hey, the holidays are coming, Thanksgiving's coming, Christmas is coming. Let's talk about what do we want that to look like this year? What kind of time do we want to have where, so that you don't repeat? I think it's so easy to get into this rut where you're repeating the same thing from last year, but maybe last year frustrated you a lot of how it went down.
Right.
But, to make those adjustments, you got to get ahead a little bit.
Yep.
Think about it, talk about it, create a plan where, people can be aligned, which leads us into the next shift. And that is shift from short-term peace. We were just kind of talking about this a little bit. Shift from short-term peace to long-term connection. You were talking about the relationship is more important than the ritual. So speak to that.
Well, so I think it's really tempting for us. Sometimes I'll call it instant gratification, to just put out the fire, just go do this to make everybody happy, to have this peace, so they're not mad at us, they're not disappointed in us for whatever. So we do that. The consequences, though, are that we become bitter. We become, we're a little bit resistant. We're resentful. We don't want to be there. We're there because we thought we have to be there, which sometimes you have to do. But continuing to do that really, really hurts the relationship long term. What if in long term we invested throughout the year? Or what if we had a relationship that was outside of what we do just at Christmas, just at Thanksgiving? If we could see it long term, that gives us the freedom to go, I'm not going to be there for Thanksgiving this year, but I sure look forward to having a great conversation with you the week after, or whatever. I'm making things up. I look forward to us going to have coffee together, whatever that is for you. I think it would help us. You don't have to go make everybody feel okay and make everybody feel, like you're there and you have to be there to love them. And by the way, it really hurts your ability to love them when you sacrifice it so much so that you're that you're a little bitter about it.
Well, I can imagine some people feel like their toes are being kind of stepped on right now with what you're talking about, because this is hard.
It's very hard.
It's just
Trust me, it is so
it's hard to do. But I love the point that you're making, that, how are you maintaining some sort of connection? And you're going to have different connections with different family members, and, and different levels of connection are healthy and okay. But what do we do on some kind of ongoing basis where we're putting something into that emotional bank, whether it's a text every 2 weeks, or a phone call once a month, or an engagement. But what are you doing in that long term, for that long term play, that when the holidays come, you can have boundaries that you need. It can help you set some boundaries, because it's not all built around one day or a couple of days.
That's right.
You're not putting that in for the rest of the year, but there's some little touch points here and there that help with that long-term connection.
And help you love them better, actually.
Mm-hmm. It's really good. All right. And then our last one here is shift from guilt and fear. Shift from guilt and fear. I think those are two powerful.
They really are. Powerful
emotions there. Shift from guilt and fear to truth and freedom. What in the world is meant by that?
So guilt is, we feel guilty because we're going to disappoint them for not being. We're going to disappoint our family. We're going to disappoint our mom or dad or our siblings, whatever. And so therefore that guilt Now, sometimes guilt is good when it's your conscious saying, hey, let's do this. But when we overuse that guilt and we allow it to drive us, it really damages relationships. And fear is the same way. I'm afraid that they will see me as. I'm afraid that they will think I don't care.
Or
I'm
they'll
afraid,
act out, or
I'm
they'll
afraid
be mad, or they'll
act
get
out.
angry at you.
Exactly. I'm afraid it's going to blow up. Whatever. But instead of doing that, truth says, they may be disappointed in me. They may. But I have a responsibility to protect the relationships and protect myself and to have self-care, health care as well. So I'm gonna protect us. I'm gonna protect our home, and I'm gonna have this time. And I'm not gonna allow fear to drive me. Consequently, I'm not going to allow fear to keep me away. If I'm supposed to be there, I'm going to go and I'm going to engage, and I'm not going to allow fear to either make me stay or make me go. I'm going to have the freedom instead to think about what's best for my family, what's best for my close circle of friends, what's best for myself. If you look at it that way, instead of saying, oh, they're going to be so disappointed in me, I have to, it gives you freedom to make choices. That's where we're headed with this. You really want to be free to make choice, not out of guilt, not out of fear, but out of love. Make choice about what's best for those you love. And it might be best for them that you're not at the Thanksgiving dinner, but that you come on the next week, or you come visit them. It might be better because you're going to back up. You're going to be resentful if you are there. So, or you're going to be burnt out. Now, it's not all or none. We all have to go to family gatherings, guys. Don't hear me say this. We got to go to these things because it's the right thing to do. I'm not saying that. I'm saying draw some good boundaries, though, that give yourself, prioritize. What are the most important things? How long do you have to be there? Which ones do you need to go to? Do you not need to go to? Give yourself some freedom to make choices, and you'll feel better about yourself. That's not freedom to say, I'm going to totally isolate myself from my family. And that's not what we're saying. We're saying, choose what's really important, go do those things, and set some boundaries to give yourself some freedom, not to have to be all things to all people.
And we think if you can make some of these little shifts, that you can enjoy the gravy a little better, that the gratitude will flow a little freer, and you'll have some ground rules that can help you.
Here's a quote I love. Gratitude without boundaries is exhaustion. Gratitude with boundaries is connection. It's pretty good, isn't it? So that leads us to, and I know, Melissa, once again, Robin has just been beside herself because she wanted to make sure we got to this part of the podcast, this section, because it's so important. People clamor, they ask, they beg for this, and we receive all of those. Wonderful. Thank you for those emails saying, please keep this up. That is the dad joke. And so here we go. Today's dad joke. Are you ready?
I don't see the book. I'm wondering what's on the table here. What's going to happen?
Scary, but I got it. Are you ready?
Okay.
So thinking about doing the right thing, thinking about helping our family, thinking about trying to, we just talked about how to help each other. I was going to help my wife, and I told her, I said, look, Mel, you need to embrace your mistakes. You need to embrace your mistakes. So she gave me a hug. Probably more truth to that statement than I want to admit. Hey guys, thank you so much for being with us and laughing. We hope that you found some things today that'll help you during this holiday season, and we hope you have an incredible Thanksgiving with those you love and those you care about. We will look forward to seeing you next time on RelationShifts, those shifts that can make a difference in your life.
Little shifts that make a big difference. RelationShifts. Little shifts that make a big difference.